Praise be to Jesus. Hi everyone, Charles here with you on a Saturday evening. LifeSite News just posted something which they usually don't do on the weekend, but Diane Montagna posted this. And it gives us some insight into the Amazonian Synod coming up. As we know, what's going on behind the scenes is something that's kind of hard to figure out. Usually you just see things on the surface. But this gives us some insight, so I'm going to read some of this to you. The upcoming Synod of Bishops on the Amazon region is a scheme aimed at revamping the Church according to the most radical versions of liberation theology, a Peruvian author has said. Julio Loreto, president of the Italian branch of Tradition, Family, and Property, which I get their emails, they're a conservative group, and author of, listen to this title of this book here, Liberation Theology, a life jacket for the poor made of lead. Actually, that's really right on. Said the untold backstory of the Amazon Synod is that it's been decades in the making and is designed to change the whole Church according to so-called indigenous and ecological theology. It is a whole revamping of the Church from an Amazonian point of view, which is nothing else than the culmination of liberation theology, Loreto said in comments to LifeSite on Friday, June 21st. Loreto, who serves as an editor and regular contributor to the news website Pan Amazon Synod Watch, noted that this vision is now being proposed by a Latin American pope for the whole Church. That is very important, he said, adding that this vision also coincides with the most extreme visions of the modernists and progressives in terms of ecclesiology, which, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I'm pretty sure that's the study of the end of times. Loreto noted the upcoming synod is being prepared and staffed by a well-organized network of indigenous associations and movements, such as REPAM, the Pan-Amazonian Ecclesial Network. All its mentors come from the folds of the liberation theology movement, he said. Another point to be made, Loreto added, is that the encyclical Laudato Si is the doctoral foundation for the Synod. This encyclical, he said, has parts inspired by ecological liberation theology or eco-theology, and parts based on documents of the United Nations like Agenda 21 and the Treaty of Biodiversity. Well, I read enough here. You get an idea of, how the Pope has stacked the deck of cards already. It's just a matter of going through the paces of this. To what extent the Church is going to change? Well, probably celibacy for one, but there could be some real surprises there. I'm sure he's going to try to do as much as he can. He's probably, the Vatican's already figuring out, like, how's this guy going to vote on this issue? And, they got this all figured out. I always remember when these things come up, I always remember what Bishop Barron said of Los Angeles, which he says, well, you don't have these big get-togethers here without knowing pretty much, what's coming out of them, So, and in this case, they're going to know exactly what's going to come out of them. They're going to know how people are going to vote. I mean, all this is just show. Well, there's a lot more to the article, and actually the interview with him is here also, if you really want to get into it more deeply, which I mean, I don't care to. I mean, this is something that we know, that the whole thing is just like a big show and it's a setup, but it's good to see that, other people, who have studied the Amazon region and the Catholicism there, and the deep roots of modernism in that region. They studied all this for decades, it said, and so he knows. I would say he knows what he's talking about. So we need to kind of tighten our belt a little bit and realize that this is coming. And this is really just, this is just part of what is coming from this Pope, I mean, he's going to go from here and then he's going to go somewhere else. I mean, I believe he's going to get the church that he wants, which is a totally secular, unquote, or quote unquote church, if you want to call it that, or some belief system that will eventually be devoid of Christ. I think at some point he will do what Maria Divine Mercy said, which is the end desecration of the Eucharist will be that that it's said that the Eucharist is a sharing of the bread, or whatever kind of fancy words they use. In other words, it's not the real presence of Christ. And because I think he's really setting the stage for the Antichrist. Well, the world is changing. The church is changing drastically in a very short period of time, as quickly as Francis can move it along. And, where we'll be next year, or in 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years. I mean, whoever thought, 3-4 years ago, we'd be looking at, the end of priestly celibacy, and who knows whatever else, who knows what kind of things are going to happen here. But, I mean, it's all very real. So, okay, well, that's it about for now. So we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.